everybody. It's LeMent tonight. How's everybody doing? I can't believe we're already in April. Can you? Anybody? Is this? We're almost in the end of April. It's almost May.
Yeah.
I can't believe it. But we're so glad to have tonight's guest, Michele Durante. Cha. How are you doing tonight, Michele?
I'm actually very good. I'm good. Very good.
Very
Happy to be here.
good.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Yeah, we were having a little chat talking about how some tips to rip off Instacart.
Yeah.
I think that's what I'm going to call this one. Tips to we'll get massive downloads because of it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. How to rip off Instacart.
101 ways to rip off Instacart.
But without screwing the driver.
Without without screwing Instacart, but not the little people.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
now, do you know who Jimmy Durante is?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Because I'm sure you get that a lot, right? So
I used to get it a lot more. Like,
well, yeah, everybody's old and dead now. So
yeah, they're dying out. You know what I'm saying? Now the only thing I could say is he played Frosty on the cartoon.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Any kind of cha. That was my cha. That was the Jimmy Durante thing.
Yeah.
And oh, that Frosty! You couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, that's like the saddest Christmas cartoon.
Yeah, and it still plays. So
I know
people
classic,
know him, but they don't know him. One of those kind of things, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So, let me give you a little introduction here. I know we just ran right into it, but Michele Durante is a professional comedian, former New York Police Department detective.
Yeah.
I better watch myself here. Who transitioned from a career in law enforcement to the stage. After graduating from the School of Visual Arts in New York City and serving as a detective in the South Bronx, she pursued her interest in stand-up comedy by attending Stand-Up University on Long Island. Her comedy is noted for its edgy observational style, which draws heavily upon her unique perspectives that she gained while on the force.
Yeah,
as they say. Now, come on. Now, so were you out on the street every day busting people, or what was it like being a detective in New York?
I worked in narcotics, so we were out every single day except when we all had court. We'd have a court day.
Yeah.
Because the days would line up that we'd have to go to court, so we'd all have a court day. You know what I mean? Yeah. But yeah, we were out there. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Was it tough? That sounds horrible, honestly.
It wasn't, it wasn't horrible. I worked with very good people, and we had a lot of fun. The people that we locked up, for the most part, they were like the hand to hand. They were never the kilo king or queens.
Yeah.
And I remember we locked up this one guy. I locked up this one guy, and two white guys, and they had a small Honda. And I remember they came out of a building. They blew the red light or whatever, and we stopped them. We had the uniform guys stop them. And so now we're talking to these guys. And they were from Accord, New York, and it turned out the guy had 200 bundles of heroin on him.
Oh my Lord.
I remember bringing him in the back, and I said, bro, listen, this is a Class A felony. This is like a murder. So I don't know if you want to help yourself out. He goes, no, I'll just take the hit. I go, okay, no problem, bro. I respect you for that. So, there was things like that, you're not like, you weren't there to ruin their lives, so to speak. They were already kind of out there doing it to themselves.
Right. They kind of did it. Yeah. They kind of already started that process. Right.
Yeah. And, the guys, and we never really, like the guys that would we had one sergeant that was big on taking like the guys for possession, and you don't want to go with a heroin addict through withdrawal, through central booking, because I'm going to be with this guy for the next 8 hours.
Right.
So
we
used to let him sniff his dope, and then he'd hand the bag, and then we lock him up, for possession that way. This way, because it's like he's got to get his stuff, man.
Wow. That is very refreshing to hear. You always see these things where it's so harsh and everything, and here you are, trying to be as humane as possible given the circumstance.
Yep, I worked in Bronx narcotics from I think 1996 to like 2007.
Wow.
I mean, I worked there, and honestly, that's what happened. That's what used to happen. Nobody, there'd be like incidents at, like maybe somebody got shot, or whatever, a perp got hurt or something like that, but it was never anything, you know, like we were never on the news. Let's put it that
Mhm.
way.
Oh, gotcha. It was
My team
all
was,
kind of just
yeah,
happened in the in day to day kind of stuff.
right. Like and plus it was the Bronx, and the Bronx is the most under underserved community. As
Yeah.
far as housing, like it'll never be gentrified. I'm very
Mm.
surprised if it ever gets gentrified, and nor should it be, because there should be affordable housing, and it shouldn't be just garbage housing.
Right. Yeah.
People, and unfortunately, the Bronx was one of those neighborhoods that was like basically disassociated and disregarded, because Robert Moses built the Cross Bronx Expressway right through it and just tore up neighborhoods.
Right. Yeah.
You
There's
know,
a fascinating it's weird segue, but fascinating documentary on how the boroughs
yeah,
got divided by all the roadways and the subway and so forth.
yeah. There's a book, I forget the name of it, about Robert Moses. It's like this
Yeah.
thing. I have it over on my bookshelf over here. I have to get the name of it, but yeah, he did a lot of that. Like that's why there was no, like the parkways were just made because they figured, oh, people from the city, they don't have cars,
Right.
they're stupid.
Right. That's right. What are you going to do with it? Right. It's just a big burden.
Right. And and whatever, that's how he did it.
Yeah. I
You
think
know.
he got carte blanche to do whatever he wanted. And so he's just like, okay, we're going through here. Boom.
He actually, in the book, it says like he actually, then he got all these different positions
Hmm.
because he would like finagle his way in, like, see, I did this. But unfortunately, I live on Long Island, and right now the Robert Moses Causeway that takes you to the bridge, to the beach,
Hmm.
is like, last year, I remember me and my niece were driving, and I'm like, oh, I don't know about this. Then like 2 weeks later, like pieces, some guy was out there on the Great South Bay boating, and he sees pieces of the bridge coming down.
Coming off of it.
Yeah,
Oh,
and they're like, "No,
geez.
no, it's okay." And then, but now they're fixing it, so it's like, that thing is ancient. That bridge.
We got to get some spackle out here.
You got to get something out there.
Fix this bridge.
You know who's working on that bridge? It's all the blacks and Hispanics that are working on it. All the people that he prejudiced against.
Yeah. Well, that was part. Other thing was that he would cut neighborhoods because of their racial
Oh
makeup.
yeah, he was huge. Like even like when you see how when like the housing, especially in New York City, the housing projects, the way they're built like very industrial almost. Like they're brick buildings with like large um iron gates around them,
Hmm.
and there's like they're not, but they're not very like, they're not inviting. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
Like it's just the way it is, and they actually having a controversy about one of the housing projects is so bad that the tenants want to actually buy it
Oh,
and
really?
invest, yeah, and make it like they're, or
And
at
then
least,
manage it themselves, huh?
yeah, because it really is like it's a shame, because like, they were made for people like low income, but like it doesn't mean you have to let, like, they just unbelievable.
Right. Yeah.
For a
Everything kind of
while,
goes to shit.
I worked with a team that we were undercover in the housing projects.
Hmm.
And so we would have undercovers that actually like lived in the housing projects,
Wow.
and
That's deep.
they moved in. They would set up the apartment with like pictures, and the only two people that knew was like the police commissioner
Hmm.
and the person in charge of who gets the apartment, because they had to move them up on the rent list, like the housing list.
Right. Right. Yeah.
So, and then we would just do them in there, and we were, and it was amazing because we would be in the Bronx, and like okay, you do the takedown at 3 o'clock in the morning, and bum 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 bum, no media coverage or anything, and because you didn't want them to be able to notify their friends.
Right, that's right. You don't want word to get out.
And so funny is, like, I might have this guy, this is my subject, I see him, and then you see Mikey, that subject, and then, oh shit, they got you too. The other guy's coming out, and it's because they were arrest warrants. You're allowed to knock on the door and get them.
Right.
And so we would like sit and start so early that we would see them coming back from like the social club. So we would grab them off the street. And what would happen is, if you knocked on that door and the mother said, no, he's not here, you said, listen, he's facing a felony, you can lose the place.
Right.
And that was the big thing, you have to rat your son out, or you're gonna not have a place to live. Just stuff like that.
Like, we know he's here. We watched him walk in.
Yeah. But I mean, it was crazy and stuff. But I was lucky enough that I worked with a great bunch of people that, we would have a lot of fun before we went out,
Mhm.
And then when we went out, like when you went for training, the thing they said is, you want to you want to come home at the end of the day.
Right.
Everybody comes back, and that's how it
The
is.
most important thing.
Like, and especially in narcotics, like when I was in patrol, you had a partner, but in narcotics, it was a team concept. It was the module concept. So you did everything with these people. We were all in little different teams. So for, Willie Hayes, I was with this guy for 15, however many years, you know what I'm saying? Like, he was part of, like, sometimes the teams, like, somebody would leave or you'd switch a team, but for the most part, you're with these guys every single day. You're doing overtime with them. You're at a detail with them. You know what I mean? So it's like almost like it is like a family,
Yeah. Well, yeah, and then, I mean, it's a life or death situation sometimes.
Yeah, but like we would just have so much fun before we would go out, because like one of the undercovers he'd be doing his bills, and he'd be like, because you'd have no money left.
Right.
Right? And so then they'd be like, the other guy would be like, come on, let's go, and so everybody's getting ready, and like one day this one guy and this other guy, the two detectives are going at it, and the one guy, the undercover, took his little receiver off and he threw it, right, and the other guy goes, that's smart, real smart, because now we can't hear you, stupid fuck. And then the other guy threw the can of garbage on him. It was so funny.
Where'd he go?
Yeah, it was just funny.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to transition here, and we're going to talk more about comedy. So hold on just a second. I think Gary, my band leader, is going to play something here real quick.
1, 2, 3, 4.
A little fast tempo there, Gary, but very good selection there. I don't know if you can really. That's a good one. So you were working as a cop. Now, did you do your comedy university after you retired from being a cop, or were you doing that in the same time?
No, I had absolutely no time to do it.
Yeah.
And I was too busy working,
Sure.
So, but when I retired, I remember I went to a comedy show, and there was this guy on it, and he was pretty funny. It's like a local comic. And years ago, I went to the local comedy club, and I'm talking like over 30 something years ago, the local comedy club out here, Governors. And we went on like a new talent night, and we sat there. It was like 7 o'clock at night. We were there till like midnight. I mean, these guys were funny. And little did I know that I was watching like legends being made, like Joey Cola and, all these guys that later, like, he's a warm-up comic for the Drew Barrymore show. He's like a local legend. He's, old comics know him. Like, but I didn't know I'm watching these people. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
it was,
no, it's
like,
wild.
Well,
you're in the heart of things there. I mean,
yeah, that was in the 80s, like early 80s. And so that was like a pretty hot time. And so I'd seen a local comedy show like after I had retired. And I'm like, oh, wow, I want to see if I could do this. And I Googled like stand-up comedy. And then the first one that popped up was Stand-Up University. So I took that one.
Mm-hmm.
And I became really good friends with one of the instructors, Peter Bales. And he was the one who, when he saw that, he goes, I think that you could probably do this. So let's work on this. And I go, all right. And he was the one that said, no comedy club in the world is looking for comedians. I'm just going to let you know that's
That's right.
And I go, no, okay. So
Good
he goes, no,
advice.
you really have to. And it's ironic because like 2 or 3 years ago, I remember I reluctantly sent my tape into the New York Comedy Club. And I remember I met the booker, and the first thing she said to a group of us was, I'm just going to let you know that no comedy club in the world is looking for comedians. And I said, you know what? I'm in the right place. I trust this woman. And I got past there. And, I'm very grateful for that because they aren't. It's the truth. It really is. And it's not just in New York. It's all over.
Right. Yeah. Well, because everybody wants to be a comedian, right? I
And
mean,
they
that's
have
like a
guys
rock
like
star.
even if you're like in the Midwest or something, like a lot of these guys go on the road, and you go on the road and it's like, it's good and stuff like that. But then like, you have local guys there that are good too, that are, like North Carolina. I go to that comedy festival. I have a great time. It's like camp. It's
Mhm.
the best time in the world,
So how do you judge? It's a, kind of a hard turn there, going from narcotics officer to being a stand-up comedian. I mean, obviously you have the camaraderie that you talked about, but I mean, it's kind of a different world, don't you think?
It can be, but I look at it the same way. Like whenever I'm hosting, and if I'm hosting out here, usually all the comics are there at the start, like
Mhm.
all of them, because it's a suburban area, so it's not like like in the city. Usually they're going from one club to another club to another club to do different spots. So they
Mhm.
come in and they leave right away. And I always say like the same thing, like, listen, we're not filming a documentary. We're just trying to, we used to say the same thing. We're just trying to, everybody's going to have a good time. We're going to have some fun, and that's that, and
Yeah.
like, if everybody would, like, you just, I've been in the position where like, you go up and the comic in front of you is terrible. I mean, absolutely terrible. And then you have to go up and bring the energy up. You know what I'm saying? And it's like,
Right.
now it's not so bad because I know I can do it. But especially when you're new, you're like, oh,
Right.
and but what happens is like if they would just understand like how to maybe perhaps write a joke, or how to be funny, it's like you just ride the energy off the last comic. Like I would do check spots at the New York Comedy Club for like Chris Stefano.
Mhm.
So I go on after him when they're dropping the checks, and it was like riding the energy though. Like they actually were paying attention. You think but then I've had, shows where they just want to get out of there. And I just have to say, the quicker you pay your check, the quicker you can leave, you know, but
Yeah.
like, but you know what I'm saying? So like, if everybody really, like sometimes there's comedians, and especially when it's like those bringer shows or stuff, there's comedians that it's like they're almost trying to be funnier than the next instead of just trying to be funny.
Right. Yeah. The competition.
Yeah, and if you just didn't do that, if you just would stay in your lane, so to speak, you learn how to be funny.
Right. Yeah. Go with if you relax and just lean into it a little bit, it all works out better, right?
Like, yeah, like you could see how I remember I would go when I first started, I would go to like 3 open mics a day for like 5 days a week, and on the 6th day I would go to one, right?
Uh-huh.
And I was like, "Oh," and then my buddy, my mentor, Peter Bales, he's like, "Listen, you want to ease up a little bit. You don't want to turn into an open mic comic." And that's what
Mhm.
I see a lot of times, like a lot of these shows, like, they'll talk about like, like an open mic at a show. And it's like, dude, no, you're not, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Tell a joke about something.
Right.
They,
That's right. Don't
you know
talk
what I
about
mean?
what we're doing.
Right. Like you're supposed to, or like they'll riff off somebody and they don't know how to really do it, and then they just, or they like this one guy, I'll never forget. I was at Governor's and I said, "Okay, dude, you're doing 10 minutes." And I could see on his face, he was like, and I go, "Bro, don't worry about it." I said, "I'm just gonna tell the next comic he's up after you." And then I'm going to be right in the room. Whenever you're ready to go, I'll be right there. So if you want to jump early, I'm there. It's no big deal. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
it's not, we're not at we're at like a regular show,
Right.
like especially on a Saturday night, they're sticking to their time. They have to stick to the time.
So,
So
how long would you say between going to the university experience and then going out and doing shows? How much time did it take you to kind of get, into things in a rhythm for yourself?
I've been doing this for like almost like 17 years, almost 18. And
Holy moly!
it took me like 15. I remember because especially in the beginning, like there's a lot of clubs out, especially in New York, that during the week they run self-produced shows. So it's like so you never know who the booker is,
right?
And then you have to bring 6 people, and like the quality of comics on there. I'm not bringing 6 of my friends to this.
Right.
I'll bring them to a bar show that I know the other comics. You know what I mean? Like, oh, this guy's good. This guy's good. Oh, okay, yeah, we'll do that.
Right. Yeah.
So
you don't want to torture your friends.
Yeah, you don't want them to see bad comedy. That's not the point.
Exactly.
And so it was always like that, and I would just do my mics and stuff. And then I would get some spots out here on Long Island. And then maybe about like 3 or 4 years ago, my buddy Peter Bale said, "Hey, listen, James I think James can use some comics." Right.
Well, there you go. Oh, you got.
So I go, okay. So I'll never forget. I went in on a Thursday night. It was a fundraiser. And I was nervous, and James, and I know James and his wife. I've known them since I started doing comedy. And James actually was one of the only owners. Like, he sat there and he watched, and afterwards he's like, I don't know nothing about comedy, but every one of them, Michelle, every one of them hit, honey. Every one of them hits, He's like the best guy. And he really is. He's a really nice guy. So, but I didn't do like bringer shows. And because I was told early on, I remember sitting there, I had a show one time, and it was on February, and my spot was at, who knows when it was, but the show started at 9. And they invited me to do the show, but then this guy kept calling me up saying you could bring your friends. And I'm like, yeah, I know, I'm advertising it, right? And when it was miserable, I didn't even want to go in. And I remember Googling the club and seeing the comics that were passed. And there was this one comic that all he does is run bringer shows. It's past there. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck this. And I remember I went in and I said to the guy that invited me, bro, if you would have told me it was a bringer show, I would have told you, I don't need to do the spot. You might want to give it to somebody else,
Right. Yeah.
I was like second to last, and I didn't, whatever, it was fine,
Sure.
But you do what you have to do,
Yeah.
So I did what I had to do. I did a lot of bar shows, and I met a lot of comics that I knew. Like, a lot of these comics were blowing up when I started, like Chris DiStefano and Emma Willman and all those, like Mark Norman. So I would see them at Mike's, and they're, and the work ethic with them is still the same. And I guess that's what most of the people I hung out with. You just went from mic to mic to mic to mic to mic.
You got to do, right? You got to keep doing.
Yeah.
So are you going to do anything? I mean, you've done this for a while. Is there anything else on the horizon for you? I mean,
I'm trying to write a sitcom, basically.
Are you?
Yeah.
Well, that's great. You want to talk about it, or is it a secret?
Yeah, we can talk about it. It's
all right.
Like, I babysit my niece's 3 children, and I write a lot of jokes about them because I'm babysitting them. And I mean, they write themselves.
Right. Yeah, they're kids. Kids are funny.
And they are hysterical. And like, just watching the way they interact, and I remember I started a few years ago, and then I ripped it up. It sucks. And then I was talking to a lot of times when I'm at like New York Comedy Club, I was like, oh, they'll say something, and I go, oh my God, it reminds me of the time. And I'll tell them a story about like when I was a cop, like, and then when we did this, and they laugh. And one of the comics there was like, did you ever do a one-woman show or something? I'm like, no, I never did that. And
Yeah.
she said, you really should think about it. So I was talking to the booker at the club, and she's like, we're figuring it out. Like, she goes,
Right.
send me some stuff and we'll think. So I was trying to make it like, so like I would have like flashbacks of like what I did. You know what I
Gotcha.
mean?
Yeah.
The jokes, stuff like that.
I'm making cookies today for these kids, but back then I was cracking
Oh, like,
skulls and taking names.
like like when there's a conflict or something, and then I like spiced it up a little bit. I have there's two comedians out here that I really like that they do these videos all the time but they're just nice guys, and like I want them in because
Mhm.
they're funny guys and they would know how to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
basically I wouldn't have to write anything. Here's your guidelines. Just
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
you can
Run
make
with
it.
it.
You know how to make it work like that. Like, yeah, almost like I think what's his name did that? Larry David.
Right. Yeah. The Curb Your Enthusiasm. Exactly. It was an outline, and then all
Yeah,
the
I never.
players would kind of run with the different pieces, unless it was a plot point. I guess they had to get the plot points in. But yeah.
Yeah. Like they probably just would make it around that. And it's interesting because I never really watched the show, and now when I watch it, like I see, like last, like I see how it is more. It's not as structured.
No. Yeah. Well, you can if you really you can kind of like Bob Einstein was on there, right? And you can tell when he throws a curveball, and then they're all reacting to something.
Yeah.
Because he's kind of an out there kind of guy, or he was. God rest his soul, he passed away, but he would throw some kind of curveball line out there, and they'd all go, "What?" And they're all trying to catch up. And it's funny. Or yeah, we'll do my Jeff Garlin. What?
Yeah.
That's Jeff Garlin.
That's right. Yeah. But and like I'll even watch shows like I was watching The Office,
Mm-hmm.
and just little, so there's different little things. We'll see what happens with it. That would be pretty cool.
That's great.
And I was saying, like I said to the booker that's helping me, I said, oh, and I have this one for blah 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 because she's the one that and I said I have everybody planned out. I said, this way we all eat. If it gets successful, everybody eats.
There you go. And what do you have a title or working title? No,
nothing like that yet.
Oh, okay.
No. And it's funny too because like last week I was babysitting Eliana. She's 4, and she was on her bicycle, I think. And my other niece's husband John came over, and he took the longboard skateboard, and he was on the skateboard, and they live like at a little cul-de-sac. And the neighbor on the end, like 2 years ago, I was walking the dog, and there's a sewer grate there, and so Louis peed down the sewer, and the guy came out like, "Don't walk your dog on my property," and I'm like, "I'm not walking on your property. This is the sewer." And so what he did is he built this whole thing over the sewer, so it's like his property.
Oh, jeez.
And so he's always been a dick and stuff. So then last week, what he did is he backed his car out and he parked on the curve part so we couldn't go down to the end. And
oh my gosh.
So I was like, oh, I have another arc. Bad neighbor, the bad neighbor,
The bad neighbor, yeah.
Yeah, like,
yeah.
And like, oh, what are we gonna do? What, how should we handle this? And like, I have like my 2 buddies that are like, one's like kind of like a weed dealer, and the other guy's, a cool Italian guy. And then we're just like, they're like, why don't we do this? And we're thinking, I'm like, no, we,
yeah,
like that, like,
that's great. Why would anyway? Yeah, people are weird, right? So
yeah,
that's the wild thing that he would go to all that trouble for nothing, essentially.
Oh yeah.
What's the point? You know what I mean? What are you getting out of this? Nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
Just being a jerk.
Yeah.
Well, Gary's going to play a little bit of his song here, and we're going to come back and play a little game. All right.
Oh, cool beans.
thank you, Gary. That was very nice. I think that was scorpions or something.
Bob, you are a grade A asshole.
I know, Gary. Thank you. He's such a jerk. He's like the guy that lives on your street there, the cul-de-sac. Oh my gosh. So we talked a little bit earlier whenever we set this up, and I have these little like kind of improvisational things. And the one that you chose was called The World Gone Mad.
Oh, yeah.
Crazy happenings in the world today. Now, is there a crazy happening in the world today that you want to talk about? Or do you want me to just bring one up? I'll just kind of randomly bring one up.
You could bring one up because, I mean, you could, there's so many.
I didn't know if there was something like you thought whenever you saw that, you're like, oh, I got something to talk about.
I'm trying to think. You know what was really funny? I like a lot of times I just have CNN on in the back, right? I like watching the situation with Wolf Blitzer.
Uh-huh.
He's a Buffalo Bills fan, he's a Buffalo Sabres fan. So that guy's my favorite. So I'll have like the stuff on in the background or whatever. And I'm not really like paying attention to it. But yesterday they had like Robert Kennedy on.
Oh gosh, yeah. Robert Kennedy.
And like, first of all, it's like, please, your voice is annoying me. And second, and if anybody like a regular person had that situation, that affliction, I would be like, oh, cool, totally fine, I understand it. But he just annoys the shit out of me. And like, he made and I'm horrible at math, but he's trying to like say like the healthcare cost, it's like 600% cheaper. It's like that's negative free. And then
-3.
And then like
we all get $3 when we go to the doctor now? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. And then he was like, all these senators, like maybe if you weren't posing in pictures with your shirt off and sitting in saunas with jeans on, like he just is the most disgusting thing possible. I feel bad for his wife because her career is just
that's a loop back to Curb Your Enthusiasm. That's Cheryl. She played Cheryl on Curb Your Enthusiasm. I
know.
And I was just actually thinking about this earlier today because they were in the news. He was in the news about what was he talking about this time? Anyway, he was in the RFK was in the news talking about some shit. So anyway, but and I was thinking, oh gosh, because Ted Danson and Larry David are very liberal people.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, oh boy, Cheryl she tanked it right there. She's never going to go back to anything.
He doesn't talk to her anymore.
Because she was Ted Danson's nanny.
Really?
Yeah, originally, yeah. Yeah, and then she's kind of she's funny on the show. So
no, she is.
And so then, that's how things got started anyway. She was working for Ted Danson as a nanny or something a long time ago. And that's how all that. But now I'm like, oh my gosh, this RFK thing has really tanked her career.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. The guy, it's weird. Oh, I know what it was. It was the fact that he was with it because he's been married a couple times, I guess. But anyway.
Oh, yeah.
He stopped and cut the penis off of a raccoon that was a roadkill. Did you read that story?
Yeah, and he found a bear.
Oh yeah, did he cut the penis off a bear?
He drove it. He found a bear on the side of the road, like in upstate New York. He drove it down to Manhattan, and then he dumped it in Central Park. And I remember when people found it.
Oh my god!
What the fuck is a bear doing here? Like they had a picture of him on a plane, and he was like barefoot. And I don't care how clean. I don't care if it's your private jet, bro. Unless you're like the guy from Shark Tank, the handsome guy. I don't trust him at all. It's just such trash.
He was barefoot on well, I guess they make you take your shoes off, but you're supposed to put them back on.
And then this was on the plane itself. Like he was walking up the aisle.
Oh, okay. That's weird.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to do that anyway because, I mean,
it's cold.
I mean, they got sharp spots on them and stuff on those stupid seats because they scrunch them all together. So
yeah. And like I said, I don't care. Like, and even if you have like, you ever see like those like private jets or something, they're not as big as a plane. Like,
no. Yeah.
They're giving up something so you can have like the table and there's some safety precaution that they're leaving out so you can have that extra liquor cabinet on board,
Yeah. Yeah. That's right. There's only
Or
so much weight can go on the
so the
plane.
C street can go, or the seats recline so you can do something unspeakable to the lady passengers on your plane.
Wow. You're talking about Lolita Express or something there?
Yeah, like the Lolita Express. Yeah.
Is he in the Epstein files? I have never heard his name mentioned.
He's probably too sleazy.
He's Froggy from the Little Rascals is on the Lolita Express there. I don't know if you remember Froggy, but anyway, but yeah, I mean, it's just so weird. It's just such a weird,
and he has
weird times.
Yeah, he has no medical background. Like if Dr. Oz was that position, it's a little different because he was a heart surgeon. Like
he put in some time, right?
Yeah, he legitimately did med school. You know what I'm saying? And he was actually a pretty successful heart surgeon too. So he worked
RFK, his qualification. I've been to the doctor my whole life.
He was a heroin addict. That's the closest he came to medical care. He was. He was, and he went into rehab and stuff like that.
I was involved in pharmaceuticals as a young man.
Yeah. So, and he's just like I always hated it when guys would go to the gym and work out in their jeans.
Mm-hmm.
Like sometimes we would do that, like at work, if you were like, you had to run out or something and you're just going to get dirty anyway. But most of us, like, we'd have another change of clothes.
Right.
But like, that is just so disgusting because it's like, you're not going out and like locking up perps. Like we're stinky. We're going to get stinky.
Right.
You're going to go on, like you have to go meet people. Like how gross is that? How gross are those jeans?
That's true. Oh my goodness. The RFK's personal hygiene.
Yeah, his father's probably rolling over in his grave.
Probably a lot of Kennedys are.
Yeah, like Jesus. I mean, we just banged Marilyn Monroe, but for Christ's sake.
He doesn't have the accent like Teddy and JFK did.
They were from they actually lived in what was I going to say about RFK? Oh, JFK. Oh, the thing that should happen is RFK Jr. should fly like over the Atlantic in a plane because his uncle, got tragically killed during World War II flying over the whatever, and then Teddy, he drove right into the water with that poor young woman.
Yeah, Chappaquiddick.
The Kennedys and water don't mix. You know what I'm saying?
Mix. And then the JFK Jr. right in the water.
Right there. Because he had the dyslexic fuck was too arrogant. He can't even read properly because he was dyslexic. How are you going to read a fucking instrument panel? I think he was fine.
Wait,
his didn't have instruments.
600% less.
Yeah, he didn't have any. I think legitimately the plane that he was flying didn't have instruments. It was
right. He wasn't instrument rated. He had to fly with instruments, I think, because of the weather.
Yeah. So I mean, remember when they went skiing and then one of them got killed when they were skiing because they were throwing the football around?
Oh,
and the ski patrol kept saying, "Stop doing that! Stop doing that!" And they didn't stop. And look what happened. You know what I mean?
This is what happens.
That's what happens.
That's what happens whenever it's frozen water or fresh water or ocean water. Doesn't matter. Kennedys and water.
They're like the Kennedys and water don't mix, man.
They don't mix. That's because they made their fortune in whiskey.
And somebody told me, and I believe this for years, that they imposed they still collect like $1 on every tax of the whiskey that's sold in the United States. But they did for like a long time. I think they did from like the 1920s until like who knows.
Right.
I've delved so far into the Kennedys. I cannot stand them. I felt bad for John F. Kennedy because he was put in the position like run for president. He's like, all right, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
How that turned out?
Yeah, I felt bad for him, but like his father was such a piece of shit. He was banging all these broads, and then the wife found out that he liked one of the nurses, and so she fired him and got the cousin there when he had a stroke and he couldn't talk. She was like a tough Irish woman, man. She don't care. Yeah. She got her revenge back.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, RFK is in the news, that's for sure. I don't even know where all this is going. That's the crazy thing. Are we going to look back on this and go, what the hell were we thinking? I mean,
I know. I didn't understand that. I don't understand that whole prescription plan thing, because when I first heard it from that other guy's mouth, it was like, and it's going to be 600% cheaper. And I remember like, wait, how was that about to happen?
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's
and I'm not good at that. This guy was like a real estate mogul. Go figure.
Yeah. Interesting.
So, yeah.
Well, Michele, are you going to be anywhere where folks can catch you, or do you want to promote anything? I should ask you that earlier.
I usually am at the New York Comedy Club. I usually do like the 5:30 or the 5:45 show, depending on Saturdays. This Saturday I'm off, so hopefully I'll be there next week.
There you go.
Yeah, usually usually like every Saturday, every other Saturday, stuff like that. So hopefully you see me there. That's where you can usually see me.
And watch for the
sitcom,
the new sitcom on Mubi.
Yeah,
it's called Behind Bars.
We're gonna put it. You know what? There was a club. I'll never forget this. When I first started doing comedy, there was 3 comedy clubs out here, all owned by 3 different people. And then the one guy sold the one all the way out in Suffolk County. And so the guy owned the one in Suffolk and the one in Levittown. And there was a guy in Belmore, and he finally sold it. So now the owners owned all 3 locations.
Oh, wow.
And the guy in Belmore, the guy that used to own the brokerage, he opened a bar down the block called Behind Bars. And then they used to do comedy there and direct competition with with the, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They had this thing like, well, if you go there, then you can't go in, you can't be at.
Oh, everybody got territorial.
But it was okay because, governors want comics.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like if you want to do that, go ahead. You got to pick your poison. Like they'll have a thing. They do have a thing. Like if you're on a private show or something, don't expect to be booked there if you're going to be advertising that all over. You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly. Because they want to have some exclusivity, I suppose.
Yeah, because then the other thing too is, like I said, there's 3 comedy clubs out here, and they're all good clubs. They have great comedians. They have great shows and stuff, especially on the weekend. So I mean, people, it's available to them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I hear you.
Some people feel a little intimidated, maybe walking into a comedy club, so they have like the shows at the restaurant or something.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like they might feel like, oh, I don't want to go to a comedy club because I might get picked on, or something like that.
That's right. Can't sit up front.
Yeah.
I got a giant head. Everybody will pick on me.
Yeah. Which is probably true,
Like, oh, is it Mardi Gras?
Like one thing I never do though is like say like, and it happened this last week. There was one Black couple in the entire audience. And like I would never point like, oh, like it's one thing if the Black comic just looks at the Black couple and goes, hey, I know how you feel. But you know what I'm saying? Like
right.
I don't tell a joke and then say even the Black guys laugh. Like they don't want to be singled out.
No, that would be terrible.
Right. You know what I mean? It's like saying, look, even the Asian guy's laughing at that joke,
Oh my goodness. Wait, Don Rickles now.
Yeah. No, you know what? He was like, whatever, but the person I hate the most was Jerry Lewis.
Oh, Jerry Lewis, yeah. Well,
when you see like the older tapes of how he was like his crowd work, he was like insulting his audience. Like, whoa.
Yeah, well, he was a very angry man.
Oh yeah.
Apparently.
Yeah. And I read, and I can't stand him enough that I had to listen to a podcast about him. I read a book about him, and like it's like he didn't seem to understand that like his stuff was really pioneered, at that time. But
Mhm.
like technology changes, and then you have Star Wars, and so he didn't like the fact that people's genres were changing.
Right, right. He got
You
left
know,
behind. Yeah.
yeah.
But it happens to everybody. So Jerry Lewis, the RFK of comedy, is what you're saying.
I remember watching a show. It was like Autopsy, and it was Jerry Lewis, and like I would get so excited. Yeah, he's got diabetes too. Yeah. And you know what I found out too? I watched that show. Like a lot of these old time entertainers,
Mhm.
like Jerry Lewis, for example, so they would drink orange juice all the time for
Mhm.
the vitamin C. But meanwhile, like when you drink so much of it,
Right.
it's like the sugar is
Tremendous.
right. So like that's why and then he would suck on lollipops because after he had a heart attack, he didn't want to smoke anymore.
Right, yeah.
All that sugar and stuff was like, that really he was better off smoking.
Isn't that the way it goes, right? Every time you try to replace one thing, the thing you replace it with is always worse than the thing you were doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like these people, like it makes me laugh. Like they're like, "Oh, I got this weed vape." Dude, just smoke the regular weed. Why are you
Right.
trying?
Well, the vape stuff is that's horrible for you.
No,
And not
like
even the weed aspect, just the
that's
vaping
what I mean.
aspect.
Like it's like it's one thing if you know how to make it. Like there's a way you can make it, but it's
Mhm.
like, dude, what's wrong with you? You know what I mean? Like you don't even know. They're like sucking on it all day. This
Right,
doesn't work.
exactly. Oh
Who
my
does?
gosh.
You know?
That's a whole other show talking about vaping.
Yeah.
The dangers of vaping versus just smoke something because you're
Smoke it.
better off.
Yeah.
You're way better off
Take
than the
hits of it because
vaping.
it's so easy. Like even with the nicotine ones, like
Mhm.
the Juuls, they were just taking sips of them all day, hiding them in
Right.
there.
Have it in their sleeve. I'm a
Yeah,
Secret Service agent.
I
All
watched the
right.
Juul. I watched the the documentary on the Juuls.
Did you know Juul is going to be 600% cheaper?
Yeah, 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 yeah. Taking this in your Juul, and he's telling you eat fatty meat and shit. Yeah, okay, buddy.
Well, Michelle, thanks for being my guest tonight. Everybody, check her out. She's going to be on Plausible again Sunday, right? Are we
Yeah,
doing the thing Sunday? And at New York Comedy Club, catch her around New York, Long Island, and she's very funny and has great life experience. And now we know the truth is out. She's not a fan of RFK or Jerry Lewis, by the way.
yeah.
So, Gary, take us away.